if Yahoo had Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher every week, we would not be sitting here.
Yeah, we'd be sitting at the rest.
Welcome to part 2 of Yahoo Footballing Weekly with me, Yahoo columnist Neil Humphreys.
And me, Yahoo editor Han Kyung. We're back for part 2.
We are indeed. And look, before we go any further, we are becoming the Perry Ung show thanks to you. I mean, what are the comments like now?
I mean, like 32, still quite a lot of comments coming in through our YouTube, through our Instagram, through our TikTok, all talking about Perry Ung. I think it's a natural talking point.
Of course. I had a couple of young guys, stop me in Decathlon this week.
Decathlon?
To talk about the podcast, which I was grateful for, except I had an exploded tyre at the time because I had a bit of a bike accident. But they were very nice. You know, it was nice to see the football TikTok guy, they said. And,
you've been known for it.
And lots to say about Perry Ung. And not surprisingly, it's happened again. Lots of comments. It's thanks to you that our show is growing from strength to strength every week, which is why, as always, StarHub sponsor this show.
Yeah, they'll be great sponsors. And, you know, they are the official Premier League broadcaster, so you can now sign up for their Premier League Plus package. Pretty cheap, $25.22 per month.
Great deal.
For some more, no lock-in. So
what more do you want?
No lock-in. What more do you want? What more do you want? You can watch it on various devices, multiple devices. You can have 4K UHD quality on 4K quality. You can rewatch the full match, replays, and more. What more do you want? There's more. Pioneer Generation just costs $12.61 per month.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It is a great deal.
Yeah, it is a great deal. So $25 you can watch as many Premier League games in a month as possible.
Correct.
Yeah.
And just a quick shout out, EPL subscribers to StarHub, get yourself down to Downtown East.
Yeah.
We'll be there on November the 25th. We've got StarHub subscriber giveaways, freebies
and stuff. We might be there as well. Big match there, Manchester City versus Liverpool, top of the table clash. What more can you ask? Bring all your football khakis down, man.
That's right. Yeah. Now, this week, 2 things are guaranteed to get Singaporeans going like nothing else. Number 1 is foreign talent. Number 2 is national service.
All right.
Put the 2 together.
And you have Perry Ung.
Oil and water. Oil and water.
Yeah, in case you don't know, Perry Ung is a British citizen. He plays for Cardiff City. He was their player of the season last month. Last season. And he has some Singapore heritage. What am I talking about?
He's Liverpool, man.
Yeah, Liverpool. Singapore heritage. His grandfather, James, used to be born in Singapore, but went to Liverpool actually to carry on his businesses. So there's a way for him to play for Singapore in the terms of like being a heritage player. That's FIFA. One of the FIFA rules. You can, if you have heritage lineage to a certain country, you can come in. But the thing is that Singapore Football Association are still deliberating, thinking about whether it's good to have him playing for Singapore. We think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but it's 2 reasons to that, isn't there? First thing is Singapore doesn't allow dual citizenship, as we know. And if he gives up his British citizenship, it will be more complicated for him to play in the UK. Yeah,
it's sort of the rules have been eased a bit.
Yeah, he should get around that because of the residency rules. He's been in the UK his whole life.
But it is an issue. The second issue, obviously, national service. Yeah. So what national service shall he do if he decides to take up the Singapore passport? So that's another talking point. And I'll tell you, the national service issue has cropped up again and again among our readers' comments. Sometimes they go back and forth. The users go back and forth like this one from Heinzond799. He starts off by saying like, why can't MINDEF and FAS come up with any initiative for a modified NS towards players like Perry Ung? National service in this modern context is more than putting on a uniform to serve in the front line. So surely they can come up with some community service related NS. There wouldn't be a major turnoff for athletes here to come over here and become a Singapore citizen.
100% agree. But we got to follow up, right?
So that brought a response from at Sagi271190. Said Singapore Defence Minister Ng Eng Hian mentioned last year that NS should be focused on manpower for national defense and homeland security. I think they're worried that if they roll out such a community service NS, other Singaporeans, means Singaporeans living in Singapore, will go, how come his NS is so relaxed while my NS is so tough?
But older generations say that anyway,
Yeah,
right? They say NS is getting easier and easier and easier.
Those work doing commando training and those doing infantry back end training, they're already tough. It's already a difference really. So there's always people complain that some of their NS is tougher than somebody else. But anyway, goes on, there's even more back and forth. The original writer says, but those are for Singaporeans, not heritage player. He is not born here. He shouldn't need to serve NS. But if the government insists on using NS as a requirement, I hope they can have such a modified one for non-Singaporeans acting as heritage players to come here, play their sports, and still hit their NS KPI. I love that KPI.
Yep. It's very simple to me, and I have to be careful. I am the only one in the room who hasn't done NS. I acknowledge that, right? But this national service heritage athlete thing, why does it have to be an either or thing? They are two different issues that can be treated in two different ways. For example, as a foreigner, I'll say this, I have no issue with national service. I think it should be cherished more than ever. We're living in very fractured times, both globally and regionally, lots of division, lots of tension. I am fully with Mindef on this. Singapore is small and fragile and vulnerable. We need national service more than ever. It is sacrosanct. That is untouchable, unchanged. However, heritage athletes separately can do a different form of national service. They don't have to go to Tekong and run around with a gun, but they can galvanize a nation, because in these tough geopolitical times, right, what do we need? We need a little escape. We need a little optimism, a little bit of hope. And whether we like it or not, nothing brings a nation together like sport. So heritage athletes, whether they're Perry Young or anybody else, can still serve their nation in a different way. You can still have 99.9% of the Singapore male population doing their national service, but then every once in a while, and it'll only be once in a while, there'll be an individual case that can serve the nation in a different way.
Exactly. But there's always the case of, why must it be special? And that's why the reply, Sagi replied again, saying one of the reasons NS is well accepted here is that everyone who enlists is, for the most part, treated equally. Any hint of a guaranteed preferential NS experience is not going to sit well with a significant number of people. The bigger question is, do Singaporeans care enough about the performance of the national team that they are willing to support some flexibility regarding NS service requirements? I mean, yes, there's always the issue of how fair it is. If we give allowance to this NS, this athlete, what about the rest? And that's why everything on this kind of issue should be really on a case-by-case basis.
Correct, 100%.
Yeah, Perry Ng, I think he qualifies as a top tier talent. Of course. Because he's done all his life in the English system, and playing very well in the English Championship for Cardiff City. We also do this to some of our local athletes, Joseph Schooling, Kwa Chen Weng. They all sort of like they had some leeway with the NS. They disrupted.
And medical profession as well, right?
And medical profession, doctors and stuff. They could disrupt first, do all their sporting career before serving their NS. There's always a way to work around things. But obviously, you have to be on a case-by-case basis. Cannot say like, Perry Ng does this, so another person comes out and he automatically goes, gets the heritage thing. Everyone must be properly looked at. And that's probably what FAS and probably MINDEF are looking at right now. So it maybe take some time to do.
Couldn't agree more. And we have to get past this literal, narrow definition of what national service means.
Exactly.
Because to play devil's advocate, right, you could have a guy, Singaporean guy, this has probably happened 1,000 times, who's actually done his NS, and then buggers off to do some high-paid job in New York and London and Paris, and you never see him again. Now, then you've got someone like Alexander Duric, the opposite of that, who didn't do national service, but has spent the last 20 years working in Singapore sports. He now works at Active SG. He's now actively and professionally involved in improving the fitness of young Singaporeans around the country.
And he's turned Singaporean.
Now, arguably, he's done a far greater national service than the token guy who did his NS and buggered off to earn millions in some corporation in New York.
Yep.
So, again, your point, 100%, case by case. You can't just have one size fits all approach to NS.
And neither can you say that, if he gets it, the rest should be able to get it. It doesn't work that way. It's always case by case basis.
But as always, what do you think about national service and foreign talent and Perry Yung? Send all your comments to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on Twitter, Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
Now, speaking of devil's advocate, I love this next comment from Sydney. This is a cracker.
Wonderful,
I love this one.
That's right. Sydney Grongs 8467 says, to play the devil's advocate, let's inverse the Perry Yung discussion. If Singapore was the Japan or Korea of Southeast Asia, means that level, the top level, or leading European national team, what would the conversation we are having look like? Will we be open our arms to him as a Singaporean if he be nothing more than a bench warmer? So that brought a reply from Wenlong82. If there ever comes a day where Singapore becomes East Asia's leading side, heritage players will probably still be a supplement to the national team setup. Japan used to have national team players who are mixed Brazilian-Japanese. Italy have called up and fielded Argentinian-Italians. Spain also done it with Brazilian-Spanish like Marco Senna, Diego Costa. Germany, which is as well, Lukas Podolski, who is from Poland. Miroslav Klose, also from Poland. Jamal Musiala, who is German-English, for example. So there are a lot of heritage players already floating about in even the top teams. I think what we want is an option.
Yeah.
If there's a way which this player who is not a Singaporean, but he has heritage links to Singapore, and since FIFA allows it, and if he's willing to change his nationality to Singapore, then we should have this option to accept him.
100%.
Yeah.
This makes me laugh. This really makes me laugh. This argument that, if we were Brazil, we wouldn't want Perry Yung. No, we wouldn't.
Yes, we would.
We know we wouldn't. It's not rocket science. Singapore only wants superior heritage athletes to what we already have.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? And this applies to any industry. If Yahoo had Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher every week, we would not be sitting here.
Yeah, we'd be sitting
If we had Steven Spielberg, Jay would not be sitting here. Every industry in the world, when it comes to talent, you want your reach to exceed your grasp. You want to stretch out and get the best possible available talent you have. And in this case, Perry Yung is superior to everything we currently have. And therefore, do we want him? Of course we bloody want him. We'll have him tomorrow if we can. Yeah. And that would be the same in any industry.
And our basic argument about heritage players is this is an option. We should take it. I mean, if we have an abundance of talents, but if there's even if we have an abundance of talents and there's a player who is head and shoulders above them, who comes in by the heritage thing, who could come in by the heritage route, we should accept him.
Of course.
Those are options that if FIFA allows, then there's no reason why we say we shouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
Simply because that we have enough talents.
We don't have that luxury. Yeah. And then we get to your second point from Wen Long. The ideal scenario is that the Perry Youngs of the world eventually complement the local talents. Yeah. Nobody wants 11 Perry Youngs. Of course not. But the idea is that your superior heritage athletes come in and complement your existing talent. Exactly. And bring up the local talent. But as always, let us know what you think. Moving on to real local talent. What a story last week, my friend. What a story.
Okay, a bit to say that we regretted not going to Jalan Besar Stadium. Not my fault.
I'm blaming him.
Your fault also.
We were going. We were going. I did have other engagements. We were going. And then last minute I said to you, you going. And then you had something on.
Yeah, I'm busy with work. It was a 6 p.m. kickoff.
Lion City Sailors we're talking about.
So we're talking about Lion City Sailors AFC Champions League match. Out of nowhere, we thought just go and see how the other team performs. The other team actually being Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors, 9-time K-League champions.
A giant of Asian football.
Giant of Asian club football.
Absolute giant.
And guess what? Lion City Sailors beat them 2-0.
Yeah, and he's sending me updates. It's 1-0 now, it's 2-0. And I'm like, why aren't we there? Why aren't we there?
And then we keep on looking around for possible live stream. And then right at the end there, I stopped, and then I saw me watch head. Like,
Next time, take it from us. If you have the opportunity to see a local game, especially a good game, AFC Cup game with a Singapore team, just go.
Shout out to the 3,500 fans who came there for the 6 p.m. kickoff. I mean, amazing fan atmosphere there. They watched Ricario Zivkovic score 2 goals.
Yeah, brilliant.
Both very well taken. And Lion City Sailors basically making a rubbish of Jeonbuk.
Yeah, as you say, 9 times league champions, 2 ACL trophies, semi-final appearance. Wonderful.
Last season they were semi-finalists. Yeah, and then they were just well and truly beaten. Of course, some of y'all might say, because artificial turf at Jalan Besar. Okay, yes, but you still have to beat them.
Correct.
Yeah, and then I tell you, the fans, some of the fans, Lion City's fans, were messaging me and saying, "Oh, what a match! The greatest moment of my life." The next day,
brilliant.
And then the social media of Lion City Sailors, I think for the next 3 days, keep on again and again saying, "Oh, what a great win! What a great win! This person did well, that person did well." Plenty of social media, but good for them. I think they gave themselves a chance of qualifying. The next match is, I think, end of the month. They're playing Bangkok United away, so that is a big match. If they somehow manage to beat Bangkok, who are the group leaders, and then they'll put themselves in a good position. The last match is Hong Kong's, the bottom side, Kitchi at home. So if they win those 2 matches, now who knows?
And that's why this Lion City Sailors victory in the Asian Cup is so important, and it matters so much. You mentioned there 3 days of social media buzz amongst the fans. That's the first point. The second point is they're only 3 years old. So a potential private investor who wants to come in to one of our local clubs goes, actually, I can move from here to here quite fast because with relatively minimal investment, the gap is much smaller to bridge than, say, between the Singapore Premier League and the English Premier League. That's a chasm. But the gap between the Singapore Premier League and being able to compete with some of the best in Asians is not that big. You know, we've done it in 3 years. So potential investors should be sitting up. FAS and others should be sitting up and saying, look, the private model or the private-public hybrid model, whatever you want to call it, is viable. Look where Lion City Sailors have gone in 3 years. They're not going to do it every time. We know that. But the fact that they've managed to beat one of the giants of Asian football, a Singapore club that's only 3 years old, should make investors sit up and go, this could be the pathway to follow.
Absolutely. And guess what? Because a Singapore club side beat a Korean club side, and just so happens that Singapore national team are going to begin their second round of World Cup qualification.
It's great.
Against South Korea tonight. The day that this part is going to be published is at the same day tonight at National Stadium. No, it's not at National Stadium.
It's in Seoul.
It's in South Korea. It's in Seoul. So Singapore facing South Korea. The people are saying, is this a sign? Is this an omen that Singapore can somehow beat South Korea in the World Cup? I was like, no, but
at least it's generated buzz. It's got people talking. I mean, it'll be a miracle.
Song Heung-min there and everybody's there.
An all-time miracle. But the fact that they're talking about it, there's a bit of buzz about the place. As you say, 2 key games coming back. We've got players coming back.
Yeah. We got
the Fandis are back.
Irfan and Iksan coming back, right? Ryan Stewart is also coming back, all from injuries. And guess what? Safuwan Baharudin, who hasn't been picked for quite a while. Obviously, he was also he suffered a concussion last year, and then it took quite a long time off to heal from the concussion. But he's one of the most important defenders of the Lions. So he's back also. It's quite it's quite a decently strong side for Singapore.
I would love Safuwan to have a wonderful swan song, a really good Asian qualifying campaign, because I have such fond memories of him.
Yeah,
I remember writing a piece about him when he went to Melbourne City.
All right.
And he made his debut, I think, in the derby between Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory. And that was in 2015, I believe.
Yep.
And then he scored his first goal against Adelaide. And why that's important is because the City Sports Group, which you know is Melbourne, New York, Manchester City, they shared his goal on all their social media feeds. And I said, all right, a little bit over the top. I said that he was Singapore's first social media footballer. And he was, in terms of, you could argue that in that 24-hour period, his goal reached more eyeballs than any goal that Fandi Ahmad ever scored. Statistically, that's true. But then he got a spinal injury shortly after for Melbourne. And he's on and off struggled with injuries ever since. Still had a great career for the Lions 12 and then in Malaysia. But he's a real Singapore talent. And he deserves a fitting swan song. I would love him to come back after his concussion and do really well.
Stop South Korea from scoring for like the whole match.
I mean, he started off, as you know, as a defensive midfielder. He's moved more back into defence. I would love it if he, pulled off a miracle and held the South Koreans.
Fantastic.
He deserves a great epilogue to his career.
Yeah.
A real talent.
And after the South Korea match, next Tuesday, they're back. The Lions will be back in Singapore, and then they also face their traditional rivals. Thailand. Which is also going to be a tough one. And there are people say these two matches will get 0 points. And realistically, I kind of agree. It's going to be tough for them to get any point. But, you never know. Now we are in this kind of a bit of optimistic times after Lion City Sailors beat Jeonbuk. And then say anything is possible. Now a lot of saying that, well, Thailand are not in good form as well. They didn't win the last Asian Championships, AFF Championships. And they are still struggling to fit the players together. So there's every chance of Singapore springing a surprise. You never know.
Yeah. Why not? Iksan Fandi's back. Irfan Fandi's back. Safuwan is back. We need you to come back to the stadium. It should be a decent crowd, I hope.
I heard the tickets are selling pretty good.
Yeah, good. So get yourself down to the National Stadium. Look, if the Lion City Sailors can do that against the giant of Asia, why not? Right? Little bit of optimism. Can they pull off a miracle? Let us know. Send all your comments to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on Twitter, Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
And as always, thanks for your wonderful support and comments. It's because of you we have our friends at StarHub who are offering you something special.
Official Premier League broadcaster. So you sign up for their StarHub Premier League plan at $25.22 per month with no lock-ins. You enjoy 4K quality matches. You enjoy, you can watch them on multiple devices. You can also watch full match replays at your own time. All for just $25.22 per month. And for Pioneer Generations, even cheaper, $12.61 per month.
What more do you want?
Yeah.
Absolute steal. And last shout out, don't forget, 25th of November, my good self and his good self will be downtown East, down at Pasir Ris to see Manchester City against Liverpool. Goodies, giveaways for all StarHub subscribers.
Bring your khakis down, man.
Bring your khakis down, man. We'll talk a bit of cock, talk some football, have a great night. We'll see you there. And in the meantime, we'll see you right here. Same place, same time, next week. Take care.
Take care.